Hello everybody, welcome to episode number 7. Do you remember back in school, one of the best days of your life in school was when a teacher would come by and bring a gigantic TV into the classroom and you would watch a film for a treat? Or maybe just watch some educational films, something that's to do with numbers, something to do with letters, or maybe something scientific. And today, this episode is going to make you feel so nostalgic and maybe very, very old. So today we are going to be doing number time, everybody. Oh my goodness. What an amazing childhood we all had back in school whenever we used to watch this when we were younger. If you guys ever did see this show, you had one of the best and amazing childhood. And best of all, you went to the best school ever. I, however, hated school, but at the end of the day, that was the best thing that ever happened to us. So, number time. In all honesty, I cannot remember ever seeing this show for the very first time, but I do remember this guy, and I'm pretty sure we should all know this guy. Do you know what? Doing that's made me realise why all these other weird creatures would come outside their window and when El Nombre would always turn up unexpectedly. And do you know what? Oh, what a godsend he is. I remember seeing this show so many times at school, and best of all, I even had the VHS tape of Number Time back when I was younger. And even when I was not at school because I was ill or maybe because of other weird problems that was going on in my childhood, I still watched it from time to time and absolutely loved it. I could never seem to get over it. So, Number Time was obviously a TV program for kids, helping young children to count from 1 to 10. Was that easy enough for you? Technically, no, because the weird thing was that we all had to learn how to draw number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on, up until number 10. Now, in every episode, they would talk about one number. So in the very first episode, they talk about number 1. And the first thing that they did was show the quick video of Little Miss Muffet, who sat on one tuffet, eating one curds and whey, and down came one spider who sat down beside her and frightened her away. Nostalgic or something? So in every other episode, they would talk about number 2, episode 3, number 3, episode 4, number 4, and so on and so on. But yeah, what an amazing hit they became. And especially when they had numerous more educational TV programs for kids about numbers, and especially like times in, dividing, adding and subtracting. What an amazing TV program we had. The sad thing is we don't have shows like that anymore. I, however, have not watched CBeebies for a very long time, so I have no idea what shows they're doing. The only show I do remember seeing a few years back was the Alpha Blocks. In my opinion, the Alpha Blocks are completely stupid, but at the end of the day, I would say they are very great for educational kids, but I just wish to God that we could have all of this, what we had back in the 90s and in the early noughties, all of this amazing educational skills back, because they made it very realistic and very educational. The problem was, though, is that with El Nombre, whenever he would draw on the sand like a number or even draw a shape, it's usually there to help kids out, like learning how to draw a number 2 or even write it. The problem with me, though, it didn't even help whatsoever. I spent such a long time trying to draw numbers completely properly, but it took me a very long while. If I remember rightly, I think I was about 5 years old when I was able to draw number 7. It's embarrassing, I know. But one thing I remember learning back in school was that if you wrote the number 2, you can also draw something to do with it. Now let me show you this. I will show you how it's done. See what I drawn? I drew a beautiful swan. Okay, everybody, but just one more time. Olé! Welcome, everybody, and do you remember what El Nombre said? Keep smiling and keep counting. One of the most amazing memories I have watching Number Time was that I was in reception at the time, and I think this is preschool in America. I think that's what they call it. And I remember it was one afternoon, and my teacher got in the massive TV, so he was all excited. We all sat on the carpet waiting for it to work. But the annoying thing is that when you was at school, and yet whenever you had the TV on, it was always so frustrating because it would have problems with like the aerial, or just problems with like the buttons or like the wires and stuff like that. And that was really annoying because whenever that happened, sometimes we wouldn't be so lucky and even watch any TV. But thankfully this took such a long time for it to work, and when it finally did, we was all happy, we was all excited. And then all of a sudden El Nombre show comes up, and we all started screaming, we was all shouting with cheer, and I was pointing at it going, oh my god, it's here. And that was one of like the best memories I have of that show, and it was just fantastic. One of the most craziest things about learning about letters and numbers for like kids, the weird thing is that they don't show like real people. They are mostly like done in CGI. Now thinking back to like when the number jacks, I think they were called, they were all CGI, but most of them was quite to do with people, but that again was very educational. But I think they now have this other TV show called like Number Blocks, again all in CGI. Now, if you have a closer look, watching Number Time, I will show you just a quick sketch about how Goldilocks can find 3 beds and 3 bowls of porridge. But just look how realistic like all the sets are. It is all the same and just completely no CGI.
Yes, I'm in this forest and I found this house. And inside are some very interesting things. For instance, here on the table, a big bowl of porridge. Ugh, too hot. A medium-sized bowl of porridge. Too cold. And a tiny little bowl of porridge. Just right. But who could like porridge enough to have 3 bowls of it?
Obviously, the 3 bears would love their porridge. It's so obvious. But the best thing about it is how they actually used their fairy tale characters by using numbers, especially in an educational show. How amazing is that? I mean, they even had like one old man and his dog who went to mow a meadow and stuff like that. And best of all, they had Little Miss Muffet, they had like the 3 little bears and some other characters I honestly cannot remember. But yeah, and I think that's why it became such a massive hit. It was no CGI, real people, and very good acting. Absolutely fantastic, right? Brilliant. One of the most craziest things I remember in school was when I think I was about 6 or 7 years old at the time, and my teacher taught us how to draw a number 5 properly. Now what she taught us was absolutely hilarious, but it really did actually like come in handy. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to draw you a number 5 and obviously demonstrate how we actually got told how to write it. So first I'm going to start off by doing it here. So obviously that looks like number 1, of course, but we used to call that his face. And then out comes his big fat tummy. Can you guys see that? We called that his face, his big fat tummy, and best of all, he can't go out without his hat. How cool is that? I mean, that really did help me learn how to draw a number 5, and I really hope this actually comes in handy for you kids out there. So, because also, you know, we're in lockdown again, but thank goodness you guys are back at school. So yeah, keep counting, guys. My least favourite sketch on this show was when there was a woman who like went into a fish shop and asked for 7 fish and chips for her 7 kids. Seriously, 7 kids? Wow. I hope you've got the right guy. But the annoying thing is that it was so confusing and frustrating because I could never understand it. Still to this day, as I'm older now and I can actually understand like what he was doing to the fish and chips, I could still never understand what he even meant. But this got even a lot more frustrating. Let's have a look at this.
But you got 7 fish and chips.
Look, I've got 7 children. They all want fish and chips. So please, could I have 7 lots of fish and 7 lots of chips in 7 separate cartons for my 7 children? Do you understand?
Oh, you want 7 fish and chips? Well, why didn't you say?
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fish with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chips. There.
Thank you.
Anything else?
7 mushy peas, please.
7 mushy peas.
7 mushy peas.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh.
7. Do you want salt and vinegar on that?
Oh my god, what a waste of time that all was just for that woman to go in there only to come out again because he could not understand. Do you know what? I hope the children never went hungry, but legend has it she went to another fish and chip shop, got a fish and chips for her kids, and they all had a great Saturday night. Well, unfortunately, that is the end of our episode number 7 programme of the most rarest and forgotten kid shows. I hope that you guys feel so nostalgic looking back at a few clips and especially looking at El Nombre. Now to end this little show, here is the most funniest clip of the ending of Number Time with El Nombre and especially the adorable little Juan.
Well, now it is time for me, El Nombre, to say adios, amigos, and keep counting. Eh? What are you doing, eh?